Welcome to DiceSized, and welcome to Wish Hunter. This is me, your DM and friend, Robert Whitehead, and with me, as always, is my brother, George.
Hello, I'm George. You can call me G, and I will be playing Parable. I'm a 4-foot halfling paladin with brown hair and blue-green eyes and a half cloak. I carry a rough, leather-bound book that writes prophetic stories and fables to me. My face is marked with a few small scars from early fights, but not many other signs of age other than the furrowed brow I carry. An ex-wishbound and scribe, now wish hunter, with a personal mission to free others by wishing. My aspirations are of freedom and equality. My oath is of vengeance.
We love it.
Ooh.
Welcome, Parable. And
Hi.
Goodbye, G. I always miss my brother. He's here. He always shows up at the beginning of sessions for me, and then he immediately leaves to be replaced by someone incredibly creative and awesome and deep. We'll see. I've loved how we got a little bit of Parable's origin, and I cannot wait to see where he goes from there. And of course, next Parable is my brother's longtime partner. I don't know, Maya.
I'm actually dating Parable. He's got a thing for shorter individuals.
Short kings.
Hi, I'm Maya. You can call me Maya, and I will be playing Zin. She is an infernal tiefling warlock who holds a pack with a fiendish elder evil. She has a small build and wears simple linen attire covered by a large billowing cloak. Zin is no different in appearance from any other tiefling, except she is missing a horn. Her familiar Akuma, a smoldering smoky snake, accompanies her everywhere, to Zin's chagrin. With a promise to change the world, Zin has pledged her life to wish hunting and righting the wrongs of the world, in hopes to make up for the shadow that follows her.
As much as I enjoyed Zin's origin, I think Akuma is just, I love the Wushu fire. I loved everything about Zin and Akuma's origins, and I couldn't be happier to have you at the table. But again, where did Maya's gone? And I'm happy to have you, Zin, but
So nice to be here.
that makes sense. That makes sense. They set this all up for me so that I can be preoccupied. All my brother and his longtime partner, and of course, last but not least, my lovely wife, Savannah.
It's Sav here. I'm going to be playing Cassiopeia. Cassie is a messy-haired, starry-eyed astral elf and Circle of Stars druid who has spent the last decade unraveling the cosmic mysteries of the frozen star Solaris. Her newfound passion for astrology was sparked when she stumbled upon a series of strangely accurate horoscopes that aligned perfectly with her understanding of the star's current positions and her intrusive visions. Cassie's most recent discovery came from mapping the astrological star chart of Solaris, where she combined her data of the star's subtle flickering with astrological knowledge to uncover that the star is more active than people suspect, and in fact, might be preparing for a molting and metamorphosis. As the centennial of the day the star stood still arrives, Cassie remains driven by her wish to uncover the truth, even though the burden of her curse weighs heavily on her. Despite it all, her ultimate goal is to use the star's secrets to help her community, though she knows it won't be an easy path to walk alone. Now, stop telling her she can't look up.
Yeah. What is with that?
Come on, guys.
Be nice.
She's a gazer. Don't say that. Don't say that. And stop looking at her. Yes, she's absolutely incredibly dangerous, but don't use that slur. I'm gonna as a parent, sorry, I'm so into this incredibly deep impromptu scene where this parent diffuses a situation in a way that educates a kid to avoid a word rather than understand conceptually that Cassie is brave to look up and has the burden of the dangers of the cosmos upon her shoulders. Cassie, welcome to the table, and I'm sorry for all the prejudice that you must endure in this world due to the ignorance that some seem to perpetuate within the world. But we are in our very first session here today, and I am so excited to see these characters. They came alive during session 0, much more so than, every session 0 that I've ever had is always like, gosh, something crystallized. But boy, did I get like a whole gem shop out of you guys in terms of the crystallization that occurred.
We're pretty cool.
It was fun.
Yeah, I agree completely. And without further ado, who never seems to show up.
Never shows up.
Never showed up, that guy. That's
Such a flake.
Yeah.
Yeah, hanging out with Shirley somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah.
Surely. Let's get to a recap. Last time, we met our heroes, seeing both a piece of their origins and where they now reside within the village of Two Wells. Parable Parsi, an oath-sworn and wish-bound paladin and scribe, having come from the sands of another land where he bore the burden of wishes granted by his patron, Count Drake Venture. Parable swore a new oath to escape his fate. A new oath, one of vengeance, to free the others of the same fate. While not wish hunting, he now keeps shop in an old shipwreck, collecting and sometimes breaking curiosities of all kinds. Zin Pending, a well-meaning acolyte of the Ainu Lisay, the people of the Holy Light, had dedicated her life to her people. However, her father, Elias, and her mother, Isla, sat her down on Promise Day. They had been told by many that Zin had too grand of ideas for her wish, and Zin was forced to reconsider her wish to better the world. And on that fateful day, Zin also met Akuma. During a moment of hesitation during her promising, Zin watched her friends succumb to the light and could not bring herself to lose herself. Akuma offered a new path, one of destruction. Now Zin adventures as a wish hunter, wandering the wicked willows of the witching wood while not on duty. Cassie, one who looks up. We met Cassie while she was in the midst of her work, that of divining meaning, both scientific and mystical, from the stars, discovering one, that Starwatch Tower has once more been publishing false results. That tower of supposed sages were lying to the people again. In her frustration, Cassie turned to a more difficult and long-term project, her work on Solaris, the frozen star. Ignoring the pestering doorbell, Cassie made a breakthrough. Solaris, the star that stood still, was much more active than it seemed. All signs indicating that something was going to happen soon. Hearing the stars sing, Cassie remembered the first time she had heard the stars sing and made a wish upon them long ago. 10 years now. Though it was a memory of painful let go, Cassie recalled finding her mother's journal as well and her tough relationship with her father, who now worked at Starwatch Tower. Returning to herself, Cassie was given a message by Belle that her gleaning was soon. We rejoin our heroes now as they all approach the entrance to the Rabbit's Foot, which of course is a rabbit's hole, which sits at the base of the great tree between the two wells for which this village is named. And by chance, you all find yourselves within the hex, the Village Hex. As wish hunters, you all have call signs. I would ask you if you've been public with your name and given it to people. Otherwise, you may go by your call sign, which is Parable for you, as we've discussed. Prayer. Cassie, for you, as we've discussed. Potential. And Zin, of course, for you. Promise. So I would ask you each, have you been public with your name?
Potentially.
I'll wait. Pray about it.
I think Sin has been going as promise, but only for simplicity.
Okay.
Like at work. I mean, I'm not like opposed to telling people my name, but
Awesome.
I think Parable's been going by Parable.
Yeah, Cassie goes by Cassie.
Awesome. Cool.
For now.
Love it. Well, that is the situation as it stands. You, as wish hunters, have been called to your 10th gleaning. And because you guys just kind of fall on this timeline, this is the 10th time that you've all found yourself headed to the same place for, I don't think you've ever had a joint gleaning before, but you've all, single filed, been waiting as Mojo has called you in one after the other to examine for your gleaning. So, but today you find yourself all approaching at the same time. How do you find yourselves as you walk across this clearing, approaching the great tree in the rabbit's hole?
When Parable's walking up with his head down in a book, and he's like, "Oh, come on, Brick. I'm gonna get down this hole a different way this time. I am not gonna go the quick way. I'm not going the quick way. I'm not going the quick way." And
how many butt scoots to the bottom?
and I close the book and look up and promise, Cassie, how are you?
I think Zin is very flustered. Zin is still trying to gather herself. On her way here was just, she was running a little bit late, was confused, kind of just, hi, Parable was it?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I will remember. I promise to remember. Yes.
It has been 9 times.
Yeah. You know, I'm feeling a little off today, but I'm ready. I'll be ready.
Cassie says, "Hey, P."
Hey, Cass. Those kids keep coming into the shop asking about you. I was wondering if you're ever gonna.
No. You know, they've started knocking on my door, and if I keep answering, I won't get anything done. So
I totally get
tell
it.
them I live somewhere else, will you?
Yeah, no, I'll just zip code like 3 doors down. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? That's that guy who lives there is pretty cranky. It'll do him some good, I think.
Perfect. And I think I write down in the footnotes of my good book, and it immediately as I write it kind of flashes away and kind of erases itself. I close the good book and I'm like, after you. And I point, like, kind of gesture towards the hole and lean against the fence as if I'm...
Is Parable feeling some sort of way about going down a dark hole?
Oh, no,
not at all.
Not at all.
Totally
No, not at
Totally
all.
not.
No.
Roll for a charisma saving throw here. This isn't to
Already?
like it's not to like not go down the hole. It's
Totally.
more just where I'm interested to see how Parable in specific is holding up.
I do think that I am planning on going down the hole, but I think there's just this general delay tactic here. That is a 9. And I'm doing a charisma save.
Yes.
Okay, that's a 13.
What do you do as Parable to calm yourself as this fate approaches?
I think that's why I'm ushering people forward before me, is because I'm waiting for them to get down there so I can do my routine. I have a very specific routine of opening, closing the book. I flip it upside down. I put it upside down in the satchel. I pull out my pen and I click it 4 times. Then I put it into my satchel and then I walk slowly backwards until I think it's the next step. And then I trick myself, say, "What's that?" And I fall backwards.
I love it.
I feel very embarrassed if anybody has to watch me do this. So I'm trying to be the gentle halfling and move them into the.
Can I roll an insight to see if like we know, like I know I've seen him do it before, but we're just nice about it and don't say anything.
Right. He thinks he's so subtle and we're like, oh, there he is doing his thing.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we'll meet you down there, Parable.
Out of a kindness. We'll do him the kindness of looking away.
Yeah.
We'll do opposed here. So you can do opposed deception, Parable.
Cool. You do see me
insight.
fidgeting with the binder of the book, like trying not to open and close it to like at Ansley. Oh no. Got a 4. That's opposed what?
Opposed deception. Versus
it's a
their
22.
their insight.
I got a maximum of 6.
He's blushing.
Yeah, I think Zen, like, I mean, she lives in down the rabbit's hole, so she's been around and is pretty comfortable. But knows it's a little spooky. It's a long way down, but you know, I'm used to it. I get that it's not for everyone, and Zen just kind of anxiously needs to collect herself and just go straight down the hole. Like, I'll meet you guys there. I got to grab something from my room.
It's so funny that you barely remember my name, but you remembered specifically.
Well, I know you're the weird guy. I know you're like the clicks his pen, but I can never remember your name.
To getting out of the social awkward situation, Zin, you jump down the rabbit's hole, which from all appearances looks like a 5 to 6 by 6 radius hole that looks as if it just ends in darkness, even though with the light as it is cast right now seems like it should illuminate more. There is just darkness there, and you, as all wish hunters, know that that is an illusion. As Zin passes through that surface of the illusion, we'll cut there to see if you guys want to make any other moves before you go actually down the rabbit's hole.
I think Cassie bops, she bops along, head down, kind of follows the motions of saying hey to people, throwing up the peace signs, getting down there to strictly business.
I do feel it's like those estranged friends where because we kind of reference that we know each other a little bit, that I'll go first, don't worry. And like,
I gotcha.
and like, because you know me from afar, you're like, oh yeah, I'll go first.
Damn. You pass this with your passive perception. So headphones bopping, and Parable, roll perception with me.
Cool. I got a 6.
Ooh, nothing to notice for Parable as you are consumed by that. Your process needs to start, and Cassie's still here.
So did I go in the hole yet?
No, you've not gone in the hole.
Okay,
but
okay.
Cassie, right before you do, you can choose whether to interact with this or not. But you see 5 sleeping in the trees of the Great Willow that sits at above this rabbit's hole. And 5, of course, is Mojo Clover the 5th, a very well-loved and rambunctious Harengon young. He is lively and often absconding from his duties. And Cassie, of course, knows that he was the one that should have been delivering her message.
Yeah, I think seeing him, you said sleeping in a tree.
Sleeping in, like,
I'd pop over there, give the branches a good knock and say, look, dude, if I got to do this, you got to be here too. Let's go. Doesn't really wait for a response, just moves along knowing that she definitely disturbed his peace.
Give me a nature check here, or I would also offer you a persuasion check, as these trees we've determined kind of have some amount of humanoid-like interaction.
I rolled an 11 nature check and a 3 persuasion check.
An 11 nature check?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make that an opposed dexterity save.
You're so kind.
By 5. 5, as a Harengon has advantage, can add a D4 here to save against an 11. That is a 2 and a natural 20. So shout out to the Zuku. But 5, you see him fall for a second, and then, like, as he's still sleeping, 5, as he's falling, grabs onto the branch and slips himself back up with that nat 20. He says, I will be there. I'll be right there.
I've already walked away.
Anyways, that is 5. He's in the tree.
And I'm oblivious to this?
You are oblivious to this, completely absorbed in your book.
Okay, yeah, I think at this point I am like fumbling with my edges of my book, and it's like flipping open and close, like somebody just like waiting for the clock to, at school to, hit 3 and run, and he's just flipping. He's, oh, fine, I have to do it. And he goes, close, flip, in, click, click. Ah!
It's like Spy Kids.
Cassie, having described herself as making her way quickly past, was like, seconds away, and you just couldn't hold.
I couldn't hold it. Also, just like, that's so true to the point of anxiety where you're just like, I don't care who's here. I can't tell who's here. I'm gone.
And Cassie, what would you like to do as Parable shoots past you?
Cassie just smirks like, yeah, I knew you could do it. So it's going to be a good day. Like, just happy for him.
All on their way to their 10th gleaning. Cassie, do you fall into the rabbit's hole as well?
Yeah.
Awesome. Jumping down into the rabbit's hole are heroes. We will catch back up with first Zin, who experiences this just a little bit more promptly than everyone else. Zin, as you cross the illusion barrier, and this is true for all of you, you feel the subtle tug of spatial magics that pull you to the entrance point. And as you do cross that barrier, you feel the tug of gravity as it shifts for a moment, and suddenly you fall in a way that your body was not expecting, because jumping down into the hole, how are you positioned? Zin would be familiar with this. So what you feel is a like true right angle change, as if you were like walking, let's say you're like on the roof of a skyscraper, as if you walked off the edge and then gravity said, nope, down is now the side of the building. So you just kind of continue walking.
Yeah, I think Zin, like being used to the sensation, kind of like enters the hold an angle to make the like, you do like maybe a little less jarring, just like
awesome.
She knows the angle to jump at to make it like a little more smooth.
Give me a dexterity. We can make this an acrobatics check or athletics.
Parable is 100% in the butt scoop position.
And then again, because you find residence within the lower warren,
it's a 9.
We'll give you advantage here.
Thanks. I am pretty flustered, so I'll take a 17.
Lovely. Finding the perfect footing to kind of roll over the turn here. What does it look like as you feel the slight splash of coming through water and arise to see the familiar sight of a large, cavernous, underground clearing, which at the top of has enough breakings in the roots of the tree system that, like a chandelier, the roots of the great tree lie at the very top of this massive cavern, and the little spots that it creates within the roots let sunlight through. And as you find this clearing of green, what does it look like as Zin finds herself flipping into this new underground and green world full of tunnels that connect all throughout?
I think she lands pretty gracefully, and then just takes a deep breath, looks around, kind of like bends over in a half bow, and then scurries off to her room really quick. Is Mojo in this main room?
Your gleaning message to all of you and asked you to meet Mojo at the third well, which was a secret to you all when you first started Wish Hunters, but probably around the 5-year/5th gleaning mark for all of you, you were let in on the fact that there is a third well that lies beneath the village of Two Wells. And that is where Mojo's asked you to meet him. It is a pretty large circular fountain that has a bunch of trickling streams that lead out all across it.
Like down the burrows.
Yes.
In some ways.
It's kind of like you're like walking down into a basin, and it's natural stonework pathing that zigzags down that basin. And sometimes you see, the option to fully walk the basin as a circle. And there are smaller trees that grow around this basin.
Initially, I was imagining like dirt and soil. Now I'm imagining like the kind of spelunking rock cavernous areas in some areas. Like if there's streams in there too,
I think
like erosion.
Combine a cavern with an arboretum.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, cool.
With massive tree trunks above. And so Zin, do you want to scurry away before they come through the portal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to I get in, take a deep breath. I'm like, okay, I got this. But like, I feel like I need to just touch base at my room for a second before going down to the well.
Okay. I'll give you
I'll meet them there. I'll be there.
Give me a stealth check as Parable and Cassie, both of you come through just as Zin tries to make her way away.
4.
As you guys come through the portal, what does it look like for Parable, who comes through first, right? And Cassie latter.
On that 90-degree angle shift in gravity, I think Parable is first. If you want to imagine skydivers who make themselves like aerodynamic when they're falling, Parable's the opposite. He's like holding his arms out and floating as slow as he possibly can.
Is this where I pass you?
Yeah, I think you passed me. So that's what was my point. If you wanted
Pass
to narrate,
it on your left.
and I think if you want to narrate Cassie first, I think Parable's like, okay.
We do actually need acrobatics or athletics checks to get over the boundary that this is. You guys, what you're looking down at your feet, the actual portal is coming up out of one of the relatively larger streams that trickles somehow upwards out of the basin.
I was aiming to slow down and get in butt scoop position before this, but I got a 7.
Cassie got a 12.
Okay. So it's a DC 10.
Oh, I was reading my Arcana modifier. I got a 9.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Still failed.
Still not good enough.
So Cassie does pass. What does it look like for Cassie before we get to Parable?
I think she didn't really, she kept her head down and like kept going through the motions, which inevitably she stumbled maybe, or like just, it wasn't very graceful. And she was okay with that. I just got to get through this,
Oh, couldn't help but look up. Was like looking down, then
yeah, right.
Had to catch one last look at the stars.
Gazer.
And like someone kind of going through like a turnstile, just albeit a little rough.
Pinball-y.
Yeah, just with everyday ease as you pass over it. And I think what makes you stumble is finding Parable in butt scoot position. Parable, I will allow you one more roll.
Tripped over him.
Can I give myself guidance?
Yes, you can.
All right,
I think that's what you did with your process. I think that's what, yeah, totally.
But I got a 1 on the D4. So as I'm falling, I'm casting guidance in butt scoot position, and I've done my little routine to be able to do that up there. That's so perfect.
I think what the 1 is
perfect 10.
It's you just pass in this perfected process that you've done is you butt scoot to the point.
Bare minimum.
You feel the gravity shifting, and you instead of getting your butt absolutely soaked with the stream that you find right beneath, you're in like this weird like squatty potty position, like just so close to the ground, but you're like, yeah, I'm low. You're low.
Your eyes like just like squeeze
shut. And I've practiced like if you guys ever catch me outside there, I have a rail outside my shop that I practice sliding down and hopping into this position and then with my eyes shut so that I don't have to experience this.
So funny for a halfling to want to get even smaller.
Yeah.
Like the best at limbo.
Yeah. And so I think if there's any pop outs to the thing, I think it's like a land on my feet. And then I really want to stand up at first, but I just kind of like scoot a couple times towards the wall and I like walk myself up the wall.
So funny. You all find yourselves within this larger stream that flows upwards against all things that gravity would tell it to.
And I failed my stealth check to get away.
Yes, and you all
I feel like we just heard her loud, echoey stomp, like little like footprints splashing through there.
Yes, you definitely have time to interact or try to do anything as you see Zin headed for one of the tunnels that leads to we'll say, the Eastern Warren.
See you in a bit, Zin.
Yeah. No, if you see Mojo before I get there, just let him know. I'll be right there. I promise.
Where did Promise go?
I promise I'll be there.
Zin, what are you just trying to get a second away?
Yeah, I just need to take. I don't know if I'll go all the way to my room. I think it's just like just a dark corner that I'm taking a deep breath in. Like
but it's really echoing here to Sav's point. So it's like we're almost here. We probably hear like really reverby, like pinky promise.
Yeah, pinky promise. I got this. Never broken a promise. Never broken a promise. Not going to start today. We got this.
You got it, Zin. You got it.
Oh shoot! I always forget you can hear me.
Everyone roll me a perception check here.
Oh man.
Got a 17.
12.
22.
Awesome. All of those rolls are enough to hear 5 as he splashes through. He is so quick and it is very, very impressive at the way that he moves, but it is much too loud as he splashes in this river, making his way through the entrance as he says, not going to be late, going to be first, early bird. As he sprints past you guys, he says, 10th gleaning today. Mojo says that he's very proud of you guys.
Hi to you too, Mojo.
No, call me 5.
I forget there's, high five.
High five.
I think Parable's still getting himself together. He's like clinging to brick right now. He's got his head over his shoulder. He's like, hello, kind of vibes.
Cassie, as you say high 5, 5 looks at you and he says, high 4? And gives you a tap, but it seems to be very quick as he zooms right past you guys, and suddenly Zin, you find him at your side and he's poking you and he says, what are you doing?
Oh, 5. I was just taking a moment. I'm prepared for today. I've been prepping for this for
I'm supposed to
10 years.
I'm supposed to bring you guys to your 10th gleaning. I was supposed to give you a message to each of you. I got a message to each of you. So now you guys have to come with me.
You technically...
you guys have to come with me. Let's go.
But I don't know if you promised anything to your dad, but...
Sorry, did I ask a question? I wasn't actually...
I just don't quite know if you did it in full. I feel like I would... You know what? Never mind. Well, let's just go.
I promised my dad?
I don't know if you promised. I wasn't there, but I just feel like if you said that you were gonna get us a message and like deliver it, that like you would have done... You know what? I have other things to focus on. We'll talk about it later.
You can hear around the corner Parable like, please put in the stairs. Please just put in the stairs.
Oh, buddy. I just want to hug him.
5 looks so confused as he's like, but I got the job done.
Yeah, you found a loophole, and loopholes are fine. Loopholes are fine. You know what? No, loopholes are fine.
Okay.
5, you're a dirty cheat. Leave her alone.
Stop paraphrasing.
I'm not a cheat. I'm just lucky. Let's go. Not as lucky as my dad though, and he keeps saying that he's lucky to have found you guys. So I'm excited for you guys.
Okay, after you, let's go.
He said it's a big day for you all.
Don't butter us up.
Well,
it's a big day, and I have been prepared, and I am prepared, and it'll be fine. So let's just go.
I'm gonna roll a quick little insight to see if you can pick up on the massive amount of stress that I'm sensing in Zin's tone. That is a 3. 5 looks at you and says, okay, finally I have permission to bring you all. He says, down the big stream, to the right of the left stream, and he begins guiding you down this seems like a relatively simple path as you look at it from the top of the basin, but the arboretum and the streams and the trails are built in such a way as to be confusing enough to not be able to actually reach the third well, even though you can see it from here and actually spot the small figures, 3 small figures waiting for you at the third well. Down at the center of this clearing. So as 5 begins to guide you through the path of greenery and foliage and fantastical flowers. Anyone going first? Anyone super excited for their gleaning? Anyone chatting about it?
Zin is focused and just kind of like right behind 5. Just like she's ready. She's been doing this. She's not really concerned too much with the other 2. Just like, okay, got my thing, just really in her own head.
Five is just chatting to himself, making a nice conversation for the group as he leads.
I think Cassie's doing work on a notepad, like also just plugged in her own way, head down, getting to where she's got to be and taking notes and doing some math and like multitasking. Anything that you guys want to roll for here with like your actual work to...
Ooh, I got one. I think Parable would love to do like an open to the good book here and like read something that maybe pops up here, like something as minimal as 2 is 3 is 3 is 2 is 2 is 1. Forward you go and down and down and down and down, then done.
Love it. Parable, what are you trying to do exactly here with... I know that the good book serves as a way for Parable to like really interact with himself, it seems like. So what is Parable trying to interact with here as he writes these words?
I think it's a feeling of in addition to just a calming return to what he just experienced and trying to remember why he's here. It's almost like, I think, opening it up to remember that even though I'm wish hunting, I still have this personal journey of finding others that are wish bound. This is a path forward for both of those. Like it's reminding me that I'm not deviating from my own true goals. So I think sometimes the good book is just a reminder that what I'm doing is the right path. So it's almost just an affirmation to keep going down.
Awesome. I think as you write in the good book, give me a persuasion check where the save is going to be against your own deception.
Cool. And I think this one's written to me.
DC 15.
Ooh. That'd be a 6.
There's something that, although excellently written, I think you do calm yourself, but it doesn't hold in the good book. It does allow you to hold on to your oath, and I think your oath stone glows in a moment, and another symbol kind of morphs a little bit to not in change, but more of recommitment, like notches on a wall of this is how many days I've been committed to this ideal. And as you feel that, there's something that you just aren't able to fully capture within the good book. The good book seems to be waiting for like the best words. What you failed there is being able to make that permanent within the good book.
Yeah, I think I'm still trying to figure out as I open it, because I'm not using my pen necessarily. I'm not sure if I'm writing it or reading it as I'm like experiencing this. And when it stays or fades, I'm still not certain what that means to me as a whole. But I do think I feel brick kind of float out of my satchel where they've been kind of resting, and like a calendar dial twist a little bit and remind me where, how long it's been, what my, like kind of a calendar check, then floats back down into my satchel and glows for a second to my side.
Reflecting upon his oath, you pass through these paths, Cassie doing some work, always in her thoughts. And Zin, how are you distracting yourself again?
I'm just staring at the back of 5's head.
Oh, yeah. Okay, perfect.
I'm just following 5.
Perfect.
Years go.
Yeah.
Pinkies, I'm sure, interlaced, you all make your way. I am actually going to roll a survival check here to allow 5 to guide you through. I'm going to give him advantage, and he's got a decent +2 here. That is a 17. So with a 19, he is able to guide you guys through per Mojo's requests. He has been taking on more and more responsibilities. Aren't we proud of 5 as he continues to verbally talk through the secret directions that lead to the secret third well.
It's like a video game called left, up, right.
Yeah.
B, down, start, select.
I think Zin is like, by staring at the back of his head and just trying to like remember what he's saying, because as much as she lives here, she's never been. She follows the rules. She's never been where she isn't supposed to go. So I think she's maybe trying to remember what Five is saying to be able to get back or help him in the future if he forgets.
Oh, I love it. You have all officially made your way through the warrens of the Rabbit's Foot. And now you all approach the third well, a secret to most witch hunters, as once you enter the Rabbit's Foot organization as a witch hunter, you are given a ranking which is titled by the amount of wells that you are
like well 1.
Yes, well 1, well 2, you as all as 10,
your clearance almost.
Exactly.
Like.
Nearly 10 years into your service now, you are all well 2 wish hunters. Well 1 wish hunters do not know of the third well. So your first gleanings happened where you were when Mojo came to you. But the activity that he's done with you has been the same every time. And what is more iconic than a tea party with a rabbit? As this Parangon who has one wrought iron peg leg and wears a gentlemanly outfit of fine clothing and cloth for willows are excellent to make clothing with, and many within 2 wells make textiles and fabrics. That is what not only allows this place to survive as within the magical domain sense, but also in like the actual economical sense. The village of 2 wells thrives, and Mojo, due to a life that he talks about little, has fine tastes, as he says, prayer, potential, promise. It's good to see all of you. Come, have a cup. Just a spot of tea beneath the gaze of a witch and a wizard, and we'll have your gleaning done in no time. And this is how it's always been. First, it was Mojo coming into wherever you were, and maybe it was on the road, maybe it was wherever, but he had you for a cup of tea and eventually invited a witch and a wizard in to come and glean information about what your specific affliction and was, and for the wizard, the arcane properties that your affliction entails, and for the witch, if it was possible to ward against it and somehow contain it. And so now, as you all sit down with Mojo, he says, I know it might be odd to you that you are all here together, but I would ask you today if you would be ready for the third well. And that would require group service. So as we sit and talk today, I would ask you to keep in mind that if you join this table, you'll be entertaining the idea of working together upon wish hunting missions in the future and taking on a whole new level of danger and threat that encroaches upon our world. This is not to be taken lightly. If you would prefer to sit at a table yourself, I would ask you to return to the top of the stream and wait as things begin here. The choice is yours. Now, what kind of tea would you like? We have, and he lists a variety of tea because the water is obviously so fantastic here, and the Wicked Willows come in many varieties of tea leaves.
I think as I'm walking up to the table to pull my chair out, for one, I am having second thoughts of like, oh, I forgot this is a group activity. Just extremely just nervous at the fact that we're going to be participating as a group. And I think the first thing that I'm doing is looking around the room. So like I will roll perception for this, but could I get a description of what the room the table's in and what it looks like for the tea party?
Absolutely. As you approach, the table is mostly old stonework. There's moss on a lot of it, but most of it is cleared from the top. This is not an often used space, but it is built with all of these things that kind of the environment itself has either old stonework or natural grown foliage that supports this process. So as you approach, the the area is kind of cordoned off by foliage, and there's a tree that leans over the table perfectly. Although it is stone, the table is stone and never has moved. The tree has grown perfectly to shade it from the very direct sunlight that pierces through the cavern roof above. Cavern
like
roof?
high above.
Yep. High above. You see the streams of sunlight, actually, as this one is very spotlit, almost within the relatively mismatched darkness and lightness levels within the cavern. And as you approach that stonework, a small round table, Mojo goes to sit, offers you a place, and you did spot 3 figures that were down at the bottom of the clearing as you started your journey down. It's just Mojo down here now.
Initially, I imagined an Alice in Wonderland, like wood table with chairs. Now I'm imagining like these root systems have grown up and made these chairs around this table. And I think Parable goes up to slide the chair out like an elephant. It doesn't move, like someone trying to go through a push-pull door. And he goes, and he honestly turns in awkwardness to leave. And he's like, I just work better alone. And then remembers the good book message. And he's like, down, down, down. And he sits down in the chair and he's like, I'll have raspberry tea.
At least the vines give you something to hold on to climb up the chair.
Yeah, I think there is an. I think there is an effort in getting up on the chair. There's like the whole knee up on too high of a ledge, and I get up onto the seat, and I like kind of like, and my legs are swinging a little bit as I say, I'd like some raspberry tea, and can I roll to see if I remember, like if I know what tea.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because I'm trying to survive my anxiety of about to leave by joining the group really hard. So I'm going to try to like recall my brain. See.
Also, I don't want to assume you want to know what kind of tea that Cassie and Promise to you like,
and possibly Mojo.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, just everyone. Yeah, give me a history check. We'll say DC 20 to remember all 3, but by increments of 5, you'll remember one.
Be a flat roll.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, that's plus 0.
Be very perceptive because haven't our tea parties been individual since?
It'd be a guess.
He's going off the vibe.
I think this is more of a vibe than a history check, but I will take a history check.
Might help you here.
Yeah, right. That's not bad. Oh, that's a 15.
Okay.
You definitely remember Mojo's, which is peppermint.
Cool. I think I grab the peppermint jar and I kind of, or with the stone masonry like tea thing, and I start making the peppermint.
As you do so, the vines and the branchwork actually take over for you. And
okay. I was just trying to help.
One of the larger rooted trunks kind of bends down to give a table that hangs from the massive cavern roof above, and the smaller roots kind of work around it to situate this cup of tea as it starts to steep.
If I can't like make it myself, can the vines at least like lift me up so I can see better? Like
go under, give you a little footrest.
Yeah, can they give me like a little boost under my?
It does give you a little seat. Any other tea choices here?
Cinnamon plum, please.
Lovely. Cinnamon.
Do I get it right?
You don't remember Zin's, but you do remember that Cassie enjoys cinnamon plum tea. I'm not sure how. Maybe it's slipped at some point. Maybe one of the kids brings you cinnamon plum. What do you think, Cassie?
When Parable guesses?
Yeah. Like how does Parable know? How does Cassie let it slip that cinnamon plum is like one of her things?
I think Cassie doesn't know how he could possibly know. So I'm not sure how he figured it out, but I'm kind of like, ooh.
I think Mojo smelled like peppermint, and I was like, oh. And I just started making the peppermint.
Predictable.
And Cassie is like, it probably is through like one of the kids, but it was like a hard guess. It was like, that was the next jar that was there happened to be cinnamon plum. And then I grab whatever the next jar is for Zin as well. And I just make like 3 cups of tea and I hand them out.
Okay. You make Zin's cup of tea. What does Zin want? And
Zin would appreciate it very much because in all of her gleanings past, she just has peppermint. She is like, I don't want to intrude, I don't want to make you do it. Like I just have
what Mojo has.
I just always have what Mojo has. So if he's peppermint, I'm peppermint. So I'm like, thank you so much. Like, this is great. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I'm so excited to be working with you guys.
I don't know what flavor it is. If we have cinnamon plum peppermint, the next jar is
dandelion.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's
nice and bitter.
Yeah.
I like take a sip. I'm like, it's so good. Thank you.
Did you want sugar?
It's good for you.
No, this is great.
Oh, okay.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to make everybody tea, and jumps back on this chair.
Thanks.
As you all enjoy your first few sips of tea, the water level is perfect. I'll ask you, how do each of your characters interact with a cup of tea? I think that's very telling for almost any character in any amount of literature.
2 hands. I've got two hands that do not reach, and there's as if when you're trying to drink soup out of a bowl, it's very careful.
Aww.
Like it's happened many times where I've almost waterboarded myself with a tub of tea, I call it.
Zin doesn't touch her cup of tea until someone else drinks. So she'll only drink in response to someone else drinking.
Oh, like when people are talking and
Yes.
like they're about to take, but then continue talking, you go like,
So I'm like just waiting. Like what? Oh, not yet. I'm really trying to just read the room and do the right thing. Like constantly trying to figure it out.
Hey, George, I've never felt more attacked. I didn't realize that other people also eat at a cadence where they won't have to talk in a group conversation.
You do that too?
Shoot. Darn it.
Hey, Maya, do you think they're related?
No.
Oh, no.
You know, I was wondering that when we first got here. And now I'm not so
First got
sure.
here.
First got here.
It's
my
confusing.
Anyways, how does Cassie interact with her teacup?
Cassie is a maximum efficiency type of gal. She one-handed tips it up, swallows the entire cup.
Ooh.
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
Oh my
It's gone.
gosh.
Why waste time?
Parable knowing how hot that tea goes with big eyes.
Yeah. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh,
I
okay.
think Zin tries to do this.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a little worrisome maybe to
Like,
Zen.
Almost an
Don't
apologetic eyebrow.
do as I
like,
say, not as I
She
do.
takes like a little sip and then like tries to take a bigger sip, but it's like it's too hot. And spits it back into the mug.
It's a 13 Constitution saving throw.
13 is enough to save from any amount of damage. I might have thrown a D4.
She
at
scarfs
ya.
a lot, I think. Like hot food. I got to get back to my work.
I am
Chomp, chomp.
I'm imagining an inaudible. Yeah.
You actually do hear an very audible.
Very yummy. Good choice. Is this new? What do you call this flavor?
I think it's dandelion. I don't know. It's whatever. Parable
That
made.
starts with a D, so does destruction. I love
You
it.
have hit your quota for the day. The willow is not very happy with you. So many leaves. Not all of them are dead. We had an agreement.
Well,
The leaves had to be falling and
Well-
dead. And you went for a living
well-
branch.
hey,
Did you say something, Zen?
Sorry.
What's that?
Get back. No, there's
A
no.
wushu amount of flame evaporates the rest of your cup of tea as
It's fine. It was kind of bitter anyways.
Okuma is not drinking the tea when he says, that's good, that smells good. He just wants it to be gone, so he evaporates it. And he says,
very satisfying.
Good. Can you take a rest for at least, give me an hour.
Do you have glasses?
No.
No. Okay. I'm just imagining steam just go. You're like somebody gets steam.
My hair kind of like curls up a little bit more. Like my bangs like curl. I'm like, oh God. Just like try to like tuck him back into my shirt. But he's like shadowy, so I'm more like smoky. So
Okuma, as you're familiar, kind of like to the casual observer might look like not your clothes are on fire, but as if like your like body was on fire beneath your clothes, and your clothes like were about to catch flame from your spontaneous combustion as you smolder.
it's a rash. Don't mind me. It's fine.
Mojo looks upon all of you just sipping away at his peppermint tea. And of course, he drinks peppermint tea, as he said many a time, for the memory benefits. For if you don't know, peppermint and the color blue will both benefit you in terms of your intellectual capacity to comprehend. And just like, well, and then he probably got lost in the train of thought. Mojo is a person who probably starts this tea party with, he would try to draw out a conversation from all of you first. Is there anything that you guys typically discuss with him at your gleaning? This is a moment that you don't have to talk about anything, but this is more of a question. Do you have any sort of usual rhetoric or conversation topics with Mojo Clover the Fourth?
I think on the more routine gleamings where it felt more like a check-in as, and more at least what Parable made it was a check-in on what he'd done as a wish hunter. We had 13 wish collisions, and starts like in his good book. He opens to a page that he actually inserted. It's not really. It's just it's not part of the good book, but so that it doesn't get disappeared, he like inserted in there. Opens to that page like a bookmark, and he reads off 13 wish collisions, 7 wishes granted, 3 to 30 wishes not granted, and many situations avoided. I think it was a good year as Wish Hunter.
Parable. We will get to the details later. As I tell you every time, this is just a time to talk. We are just here to see. Tell me about life. How is running the shop?
Well, in between missions, it's nice, I guess, but we do have
is the reselling of the curiosities of the how is the reselling of those going? Any interest in those bits and bobs?
Only the children that come in. I haven't really had any interest other than mine in the objects that we carry, but unfortunately, I don't really want to say this, and he fumbles with the handle of the lamp in his pocket, and he goes, actually, everything's fine. The curiosities themselves, they're doing well.
Well, I'm wait, what's that? Sorry, I've just received a message. There's it seems as Mojo cuts off, as I'm trying to figure out how he might receive a message.
I want him to have like a secret agent wire in his ear.
So Mojo, as leader of the Wish Hunters, yes, I think actually it is
a little curled wisp, like an earpiece. Yeah.
Yes, as the fairy packed lanterns above in the 2 wells kind of show they are a sign that this area is welcome to fey creatures. The cavern below is much more filled with the glowing wisps that are friendly in our case here, as they come down and give Mojo the message that it seems that Fall and Willow were preoccupied. They were supposed to be watching. I assumed that they'd taken better vantage points, but Parable, are all of the curiosity, they were fine?
Oh, most of them.
Nothing happened to
define nothing.
Well, so the Wizard Fall and the Witch Willow apparently apprehended and recaptured. Luckily, we have a series of iron flasks that are able to capture any sort of wish afflicted creatures. And it turns out, at the core of the invisible stalker that was released in the Village of 2 Wells. Luckily, no one was hurt. No one was hurt at all. At the core of it was a small amber glass piece that I swear looked just like one of the bottles in your shop. I think third shelf far on the left. Anyways, they will be back shortly. Willow should transport them via plants immediately.
Row 12, subsection B.
That's the one. That's the one I'm thinking of.
13.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yes.
Okay. And I think Parable actually, he as much as he avoids being caught out for things and stuff, he pulls out the piece of lamp and puts his head down, feet still swinging in the chair, and says, "I broke it.
Ooh.
Parable,
The truth will set you free.
That's not what I exactly was hoping for, but I'm very glad and I'm impressed that you would be so forthright with obviously something that I myself might feel in your position responsible for, but I must remind you, ultimately, it is my responsibility to ensure that the items given to you are inert. And the fact that an invisible stalker, which, as you all know, as Wish Hunters, is a lesser wish-afflicted creature, it is still a dangerous invisible air elemental, and I am sorry for having that brought into your shop, but thank you for being so honest as he looks at your piece of glass like,
So honest.
Sorry.
I think Parable stands up on the chair and bows and then sits back down and kind of blushes as if he's like done something wrong, but not. And also for a moment goes, should I be checking if there's anything else in the shop that's not inert? I'm not saying I'm going to break it, but I can't promise anything. Looks at
well, we actually had the Wizard Fall stop by, and although he is an eccentric individual, he was able to clear all of the rest of the items. That one must have been actually, now that I come to think of it, the creature that was trapped in that bottle was a Dao, previously an earth, a Jinn of an earth nature. We'll have to look into this later. Yes, you're with us. Okay. The wisps whispering to Mojo, who confirms that the Wizard Fall and the Witch of the Willow are indeed now watching, and your gleaning can still begin because apparently the Witch Willow has been getting live updates from the plants. So
I think Zin, having heard that they're watching, sits up a little straighter.
yeah, I will offer you guys perception check if you guys want to see where they are from their vantage point.
9.
Perception, that is an 11.
16.
16 is the only one enough to spot not the Wizard Fall, but you do catch sight of the Witch Willow. I think the idea or the hint that Mojo indicates that she's able to transport via plants, what might look like out of the corner of your eye, a branch bending to catch a little bit more sunlight, you see is actually a woman kind of like bending in, and from her hair and cloak, branches and willows grow upward, kind of like a not so boisterous as a peacock, but with that same kind of flowing upward pattern. This is the Witch Willow who watches from the foliage beyond, and you spot her.
Cool. I think I catch her out of the corner of my eye and don't look straight on at her. Just kind of keep tabs on her.
You see eyes upon you as the Witch of the Willow has a special interest in anyone who deals with the druidic natures. You see keen interest upon you.
I'm really trying not to be clocked as watching her while she's watching me then. Like I'm trying to keep my head tilted down and really looking up at her through my eyebrows.
Give me a persuasion check. This will be to but we'll say persuasion check to keep cool.
8.
In 8, you feel like you're holding it together, but you're not quite sure how much of your face is reading through with your emotions there. Mojo asks, Cassie, how is the clock tower?
The clock tower is great. And then Cassie goes into a rant like she usually does, trying to convince Mojo to use some of his resources to put some pressure on Starwatch Tower.
Interesting. Okay.
I think she feels like, oh, what a great gathering of resources of people who can get stuff done, boots on the ground. I'm telling you, it would be better for the community if you could just channel some of this energy towards stopping the assholes over at Starwatch Tower from spreading fake news.
Mojo hears you with very open and large ears and says, now, Cassie, they are an ally of ours and they bolster us often. When we ask for aid, they send their hands, and their sages often try to divine extra answers from the stars, though they haven't come through as of late. They have been helpful in the years past, especially I can see on your face that you're not understanding the importance of holding on to that relationship.
I don't think it's a misunderstanding. I think I'm just not impressed with their aid as of late.
Give me a persuasion check here. If you can describe the kind of evidence that you're bringing, you can add guidance on top of that.
I rolled a 6. Could be a 10.
It'll be opposed.
9 total.
9 total. This is going to be an opposed insight here. That is a 13 on the die. Mojo unfortunately hears you, but he continues to talk about how the aid that they have sent and the people that they protect is just too valuable to risk.
I think we have this argument every year, every time I see him. So it's kind of like, I gotta try, but.
So it sounds like you presented that pretty politely as Cassie. Cassie does have hard evidence that Starwatch Tower is lying, that it doesn't sound like roleplay why you just presented. I would allow you another persuasion check here if you want to throw the gauntlet down here.
I don't think Cassie would do that in this present company. And I think she wants indisputable evidence and maybe a one-on-one conversation with Mojo before really rolling up her sleeves to kind of make these accusations and claims.
You see Mojo writes something. He also wrote something after his interaction and conversation with Parable, and he writes something now as he notes something about Cassie.
I make a note in my notebook and
Counter
back
note.
and forth to Mojo. Like,
It's just
interesting.
It's quiet eyes as the scratching of two notepads kind of go off, and
It's snarky. It feels snarky.
it feels a little snarky. Mojo does ask one more question, and he says, "Now, we'll get to this in a little bit, but I would ask Cassie, have you heard anything from your father at Starwatch?
Anything like what?
Has he written?
No.
Has your father written?
Nothing meaningful.
Give me a deception check here."
It's like he blows smoke and an 8.
19 on the die.
8 rolls.
The second I switch to a real
It'll be a nat
IRL
20.
dice.
Cassie, I'm asking.
one.
I'm asking for. Communications have been light of late, and
Between you and my dad?
between Starwatch Tower and the Rabbit's Foot. Like I said, they are great allies of ours, and I would be.
Point proven.
I take your point.
Thank you.
I would just ask. Not for the content, but just the frequency. Has your father written or sent you anything in the past month?
Mm-hmm.
He has.
Yeah. I didn't open it.
Thank you. That's one exactly. You can, if you want, roll D4 here, and we'll say that's how many weeks ago.
Last week.
Good. That is,
Why?
well, official missives normally come at least once every 7 days. However, we have not received one in the last 15 or so.
I'd appreciate if you didn't keep tabs on my personal communications with my father.
No, Cassie, we're not. It is good to hear that the sages of Starwatch are still communicating with the outside world. We had feared that something might have happened, so that is all I ask. Again, I will discuss details later, but let us continue our gleaning.
More scribbling in her notebook.
More scribbling on Mojo's side.
Was I supposed to bring a notebook?
Parable, of course, has been writing the entire time.
Yeah,
I'm the only one without a book. I'm like, was there a memo that I missed? I
Akuma
can go get one if you want me to.
Akuma starts scorching lines in the stonework to try to.
It's not what I meant, but it does help. Thank you. Yeah, I think I would ask, like, was I supposed to bring a notebook? Was I not aware of something?
Oh, no, Zin. You've come more than prepared. My writings just help me put my thoughts together. So
yes. And as you know, as we talk about often, I'm more than willing to take on more responsibility around here. You know, I've been helping here and there with some organization. With Five, I've been helping him a bit. If there's any more I can do, really, you know, I'm here all the time, and I'm really excited to be, you know, having a better position in a group with these people. So, yeah, you just let me know. You just let me know.
You hear, Zin lets her know later. Okay. And you see the script slowly disappears because I've definitely picked a page where like it's not gonna.
I'm like,
record.
Akuma, write that down.
I want Zin to give me 2 rolls here. These are just luck checks. We're determining what you and Five have like actually done here. The first roll is gonna talk about the intensity of the problems that you faced. So you are setting the DC for yourself with that first D20, and then
God, flat.
Yeah,
9.
Good. We were trying to want to roll there. You didn't like go fight a dragon.
No.
And now we're gonna see how that went to deal with that. So with a 9, probably something 5 wouldn't be prepared to handle alone quite yet. So the fact that you were there was important.
A 15.
With the 15, it was majorly important as it was a time that 5 was like running around town so quickly. He's just like
Take
breathing.
a deep breath.
How, as he runs into you in the middle of the street corner, as he spoke so hurriedly about a turtle asked me to race and I lost. I have no idea how I lost a race to a turtle and I think I lost my soul. I think I lost my soul.
Wait. Slow down. Well, seems like you were going pretty slow. A turtle. You know what? You'll get him next time. What about your soul?
Well, here he tells you the story about how he went into the woods, and to you as someone who's not overcome with fear that they've just lost this soul, you can tell that it's obviously was a turtle druid who tricked him like with druid magic, maybe used tree stride or some other druid thing that beat him in a race via druidic trickery. But from everything 5 says, and it was within the Witching Wood, like you just know that it was some denizen of the Witching Wood that was having fun. But I think he does give you enough of like a sob story that you might feel obligated to go talk to that druid and be like, hey.
Yeah. I was like, well, if it's within the wood, like I'll have the willows find him and I'll have a chat with them. I'll make sure that you get your soul back.
There was a slight misunderstanding and an altercation where the druid wild shaped and you guys had to kind of tussle for a little bit, but 5 was left unharmed as you were able to prevent this altercation from going from misunderstanding to manslaughter.
I think I probably casted like hold person and just had a conversation.
Love it. As we are back into the present day as Mojo asks, so what? I hope 5 he hasn't been getting into too much trouble. I do ask him to keep me updated on his missions, but he said something about what was it, that a race that you and he had. Yes. He didn't get the outcome he wanted, but we worked through it. We did. He's doing great though. I think he's gonna follow in your footsteps wonderfully. Yes. But if there is anything else you want me to do, like I'll do it. You see 5 at the edge of the clearing nodding vehemently as with his big ears, he can just barely catch whispers as he hears his own name.
Tapping his foot on accident.
Yeah. Mojo looks at you and he says, well, that is, I think, a good point to talk about why I brought you all here. Fall, Willow, is that enough? It seems so.
Parable looks up to the above their head.
I'll give you guys an insight check to see why enough time has passed. Enough information has been had. How?
10.
Nat 1. It's a 7 now.
With a nat 1, Cassie, please read the text of Cassie's wish. Your homebrew feature that we have made to represent Cassie's curse.
Oh no. No. Okay. One moment.
Is this fun? I mean, in character, it's terrifying.
I will tell you, I'm so afraid.
I'm so afraid.
This is exciting.
Your characters don't know this, but as players, I'll tell you the reason that the gleaning is complete. All of you have finished your tea, whether through anxiety or through gulping. The leavings of the tea within the cup have been seen, and I'll even tell you as players that Willow is tracking and has, from different vantage points, looked and read the leavings of the tea.
Ooh, fun.
The wizard Fall has been, watching you through arcane means, and they might be making an appearance shortly. As all of you in this moment finish your tea, Cassie, can you read off the text of your feat here?
Yeah.
For DM's sake, I gotta say that we mapped this over one of the dark gifts from the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica books. This is the Echoing Soul dark gift, but we have made it Cassie flavored.
Yeah, so now it's called Echoes of Star Song. Your soul resonates with the distant melodies of the cosmos, woven into the starlight itself. Whether your essence has been touched by the distant hum of a forgotten star, your spirit was drawn from celestial realms, or you share a cosmic link with an astral entity, you hear echoes of the universe's song. These whispers from the stars gift you knowledge, talents, or languages you can't easily explain, yet they also disrupt your thoughts and beliefs, like starlight piercing through the night sky, unbidden and unexpected. Immediately after you make an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, and roll a 1 on the d20, cosmic song waxes and overtakes your perceptions and experiences. You might see people around you as someone other than who they are, or you become disoriented by a double experience of the world around you. Roll on the Star Song Echoes table to determine the effect of these vivid memories and perceptions.
Cool.
So this mechanic is kind of serving as the concept of intrusive thoughts in real life, but for Cassie.
You hear at first the stars begin to sing within Cassie's mind, and then they become a blaring sound. Let's see what Cassie is dealing with right now, specifically.
I rolled a 1, which correlates to being charmed by a creature you can see of the DM's choice for 1 minute or until the creature damages you.
Interesting. Maybe that's the DM's choice, but I would ask you if Cassie has had her eye on anyone in this encounter specifically. Has Cassie felt naturally drawn to either her peers at this table, to Mojo, the Wizard Fall, Five, or Willow? Anyone here, I think.
Yeah, I think being unable to see where the Wizard Fall was when she was looking around to find the wizard and the witch, she's concerned or has had concerns about where he is and what he's up to.
Cassie is the only one not to be alarmed by the massive crash as the Wizard Fall makes an appearance from a height that seems humanly impossible to survive, and a sound that sounds terrible. A man stands up, wipes himself off with a massive amount of dust, and Cassie, I think your eyes are naturally drawn to the fall of the Wizard Fall as he falls from the very tippy top of the cavern, which I think is probably about 10 stories tall.
Whoa. Does he enter like this every gleaning?
Yes. He
named
enters,
appropriately.
He enters like this most places. He has been known.
This is just his thing.
He has been known to fall from the ceiling of a tavern, a tavern gathering area, to everything from that to there's actually during the seasonal festivities that take place and of course are put on in the Village Hex, he has been known to fall from a certain height in the Great Tree, and every year he gets a little bit higher about how far he's able to fall.
I think, would Zin have heard him falling
just now?
Mm-hmm. I think she just puts her cloak hood up to like if the splash like doesn't want to get wet, just puts her hood up.
As he says on the way down, "So far, so good." I think Cassie is the only one that is forced to laugh. You can choose as characters whether you want to laugh at that bad joke as he ends the fall in absolute tumble. And Mojo says, "Now they'll tell you that the joke is that the man falling." Sorry, he's told this one so many times. "They'll tell you that the joke about the man falling is that he's too stupid to understand the doom that awaits him. Yet the Wizard Fall has, you'll see his philosophy. They don't understand the genius of a man falling. To be immortalized as the man who fell, Fall is one of the reasons that we know all of the ways as to not fall as an organization and to stand on our feet. Wizards, when they commit themselves to an ideal, they have to be everything within that ideal, which is when they swear themselves to a concept or a land or a power, they must serve as an absolute arbiter of that thing. So what better than a witch and a wizard to tell us that you have all successfully passed your gleanings today?"
Oh, is this not? Oh, was that the joke? Sorry. No, you're sorry.
The Parable did not hear that. Ever since Fall hit the ground and encompassed every fear that Parable has had about falling down a hole and what that might look like, it just eyes big, cup, tea slowly, like any residue tea slowly pouring out of the cup, and just staring at where Wizard Fall has hit the ground.
As the wizard stands up, he says, "Well, they don't call me the Wizard Land." Cassie Force.
It actually got me though. Clever.
You just hear out of Parable just deeply disassociated.
I was considering the wizard, the as he hears Mojo talking about his philosophy, he says, there was a time that I thought of the wizard go, the wizard drop, the wizard leave, but all of them have such connotations that force you into an idea, but to fall. Well, they never say when you land. That's right.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
So why be afraid of it? It's the entire time is a good time, and until you're not falling.
The knot.
No, well, what I'm saying is not falling is like falling.
But not falling's better than falling.
But they're basically the same thing. They're a state that you are in that will not change until you land.
Parable just stares off into the distance.
Anyway, can we go now?
Mojo looks to the wizard fall and he says, Willow, would you join us as the vines grow out? It is a woman actually walking out of the forest edge, but to the non-discerning eye, it would seem as if the foliage is growing until she's close enough that you get the actual, details of her humanoid visage within all the foliage that encapsulates her. As the witch Willow says, yes, good. And Zin, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Give me a history check. You have definitely met the Witch of the Willow many times. We'll see how those interactions have gone.
9.
A 9. That's like the tone of the scenario. Now give me a persuasion check to see how you capitalized on those scenarios. So the circumstance.
21.
Oh, nice. Okay, so she
Nice.
found you under a circumstance that was like, it could have been assumed quickly that you were going to harm the Wicked Willow, like the way it moved and the way that the feeling that she sensed. But then how did Zin, in this moment that she was in the witching wood, interact with a Wicked Willow in a way that convinced the Witch of the Willow that you are on their side?
I think like in a job interview when you have to what's the one time that you messed up in your job and turned it around? I think Zin with Akuma, she's always kind of having to turn it around, spin it around. So maybe Akuma was on one that day and really going after the Willow. And I think maybe she just persuaded her by the way that she talked Akuma down, or maybe just the rhetoric around, we have to, I know you want to destroy and we have so much power, but I really we can do good with it, Akuma. I promise. You can light things on fire, but just not here, anywhere else. Not anywhere else. We'll talk about it, just not here. And this place is sacred, and just kind of we're here to help. And if we were to destroy these trees,
Kind of caught when you were when you didn't know you were being listened to, and you were talking to Akuma.
Yeah, and
I think the Witch of the Willow gives you a wink that is kind of reflected in the foliage, as you can see a wave through the branches in the background that are timed with the wink, as you can feel reflected in that little moment of familiarity. I don't know through how many interactions, but at certain points you probably picked up on the fact that she appreciated how you use something that could be seen as evil on the surface for the force of good, as she watched you for the very first time prune the dead branches and leaves of a Wicked Willow rather than destroy.
Yeah.
Which has since become a heavy and controversial topic with Akuma.
Well, we could just do that branch.
No,
It seems
a
a little.
controlled burn.
No,
A
that's
controlled burn
dry.
so it grows back stronger and better.
That's right. Well, we have to snap it in half to see if it's white on the inside.
She mends the branch back to oh my gosh. Yeah. I think that recognition from the Witch of the Willow is absolutely cup filling for Zin. She's finally relaxed today because of that validation.
Awesome.
Pours
Her
more
butthole
tea.
has unclenched.
Pours more
Finally.
tea.
Yes.
Zen has a praise king.
Yeah. Well,
Zin does have a praise.
I mean, you try not to have a
Classic
praise king
religious girl
after.
thing.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Just tell me I did good.
I think other specific observations of note in this moment. You also kind of feel the gaze of the Witch of the Willow. Cassie, for you, it's more so the wizard Fall as he looks at you and says, "Why are you staring at me?"
Why am I staring at him?
We never actually got into the actual effect that Cassie is feeling right now. And right now, the universal song that is charming you towards the wizard Fall is the absolute and utter commitment to an idea, right? Cassie is so often, she's got projects on projects and projects, and they all fall within the stars. Yeah, that's an obsession, but
Hyperfixated.
To be so specifically dedicated to one idea, that's got to take not only intellect, but also perseverance, dedication, all the things that Cassie seems to really value.
I thought my curse here was just that I had to find him really funny. And I was committed to making sure he felt like he was funny.
I think you're fully charmed, but that is definitely how it's coming off at first. And I will describe that the juxtaposition of being charmed by a man who fell so far, is still covered in dust. His hair is windswept. He's balding in that way that like most of his forehead is showing in the top left and right corners. And the top of his hair is wind blown up and the sides are wind blown out right and left.
I think so. Then upon being asked, "Why are you staring at me?" I would say, "Do you feel like you're able to make big change in the world?"
Well, to make change, arguably something must fall for something to rise again.
What is your impact?
Well, I guess this is the best way to describe it. You don't always have to fall down. And everyone give me I gotta check the spell. I believe it might be a Constitution or a Dex save. As you see teacups and the table is grounded, so it does not move, but all things upon it start to float slightly upward until gravity slowly reverses. And this will be a dexterity saving throw to hold on or grab any sort of fixed object to avoid falling upward.
7.
11.
23. You got a nat 20 plus 3.
Damn, with a nat 20,
Those
I
vines.
will allow you to interact with 2 failed rolls over here.
Cool.
Rude. First
So-
of all.
Parable's able to grab and to hold on, but you guys are almost immediately feeling the stomach lifting feeling of being reversed entirely in the field of gravity that you now sit.
Is this supposed to be happening? Is anyone else? Are we?
The wizard Fall says, "Oh, this is going to be fun," as he has willingly failed his own spell and he kind of like looks up for a moment in appreciation and then seems to like situate it in his body in such a way that looks so awkward for where he is now, but you might assume will give him like advantage as he starts to fly upwards. I would offer you guys any sort of roleplay flavor to do the same as you see him contort his way, especially you, Cassie, as you're so zeroed in on the wizard Fall and how he falls.
So as he we're all floating up?
Yes, but you can just, I'm giving you guys the moment that you see as the wizard Fall cast the spell. He is preparing to fall, which you've succeeded on a dexterity save to just grab onto something. You're safe. I will allow you guys a intelligence check to mimic the wizard Fall.
On a nat 20, can I do a halfling thing here? And with the floating energy, like I'm imagining climbing up onto the table, bouncing off of Zin's shoulders and then Cassie's shoulders and like pushing off the branches above me and back into my seat and holding on.
Awesome. I will give you guys, both of you, advantage here as Parable moves to give you just a little bit more time before being fully taken under the effects of the spell.
Which I think is really accurate to Parable because as soon as I felt the change in my belly of like falling, I think I immediately reacted to the surroundings.
18.
16.
Awesome. Both enough to, both of you are still falling with the wizard Fall, but somehow are able to mimic him in a way that prepares you for what he does next, which is almost immediately end concentration on the spell allowing him to contort his body quickly in midair and do like the most amazing gymnastic maneuver you've ever seen. The aerial nature of this move is absolutely incredible. Having successfully copied him, give me an acrobatics check with advantage to fall like he does.
Nat 20.
Ooh, another one.
Nat 20.
Oh, that's 3 nat 20s.
With an instant, baby.
That's 3 nat 20s.
Oh my good God. I could go on forever citing
The math, the probability.
citing all of it, as well as, bringing in, falling like style, all of the references that I possibly could. But I need you two to describe this moment for me. Please take as much time or stage as you would like to, as this vision needs to be implanted within my mind.
Do you think it's just a wavelength?
I don't know.
Is it synchronized? That's the first question.
we hold hands?
Is it
Like maybe we hold hands or lock arms or like steady. Like I reach out to steady myself on Zin and Zin reaches out to steady herself on me. And the result is just a fortified fall that is steady, graceful even.
I love thinking about you guys interacting in any way in the air to somehow make this fall even more graceful or
This is an 8.
heroic.
It probably wasn't even intentional.
Yeah, I would say like Zin probably like opened her cloak a little bit to give like a little bit of a parachute effect. Maybe like
Could I profit something?
Yeah.
I think as a group, if we all just did this and it's like our first representation of working together, it'd be very cool to see the halfling hop up on the first deck save and like assist you guys in adjusting your bodies, like as if musicians working together. Like we don't know how well we work together. And then I'm sitting back down, sipping tea, watching, Wizard fall while you guys adjust yourselves to that dynamic however you want, like swinging off branches and stuff. And we all just sit back down where we were like nothing happened.
And suddenly we're all kind of realizing like, oh, maybe someone was onto something with
Like
this.
we work good
Because
together.
I feel like
Yep.
Cassie is very calculative and like would be able to like, okay, that's what he did. And Zen is just absolutely
Like present.
will follow, like very. And so we can maybe like just look at each other. It's like, we got this. We got this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
We can do this. I don't want to fall. Do you want to fall?
It's a 1 in 8,000 chance, by the way. It's a 0.0125%
No
chance
way.
of happening.
So fun.
Well,
Fucking love that.
Get ready. I'm sure it'll happen again.
Parable, similar to you, Mojo also saves on the dexterity save and is able, he very gentlemanly holds on, like with a foot to a place prepared for this. It doesn't look like
His
he's-
cane.
Yeah, it's the clothing and the things that he wears and carries that show the shift in gravity. Nothing about his posture does. And similar to the Witch of the Willow, she was rooted in before this took effect. I think you, with your nat 20, are able to mirror them and mimic them in a way, preparing for this and holding yourself firm, giving them a chance by bouncing quickly around as you take that in. And then you fall with absolute just fantastic style, and the wizard fall says, not bad. And like I said, not always down or up, sometimes just around. You can fall in a circle. You could fall in a diagonal. He starts to trail off about all the ways that you could fall. You could fall behind a tree, you could fall above a tree, the tree could fall. You could be below a tree while the tree could fall. And you could be within a drop of water while the water and continues. And Mojo says, I think you can all see why I might have brought you together.
yeah, there seems to be some connection between us.
After the full scene playing out, I think Parable, to stay rooted, was under the table, like holding his hands up underneath of it. And like so he slinks out and says, well, yeah, it worked out. I
do love that Parable completely avoided the fall, but still took a risk to help his friends.
Thanks, Parable.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Just heavy breathing, and
So brave.
you can see Parable looking for something to do with his hands, so he grabs his book and he just starts writing and scribbling.
Taking a moment to write, Mojo reveals his notebook just with a little flash, and he says, I'll tell you now that the notes that I've been taking about you for the last, As he flips open his notebook, you see pages and pages and pages, and these go back 10 years. The consistency that he has been tracking you from just a personal nature. These aren't like files that say very official things. It's just Mojo's thoughts. He says, I've been thinking about this long and hard. And there's a problem that faces this world. One that you know only the surface of. What lies beneath is an ocean of problems that plague not only our lands, but our allies. And the reason I asked about Starwatch earlier is, one, they have sent the same data report. Although they've changed the dates on it, they've sent their exact same findings 3 times in a row.
I have theories when you're ready to talk.
I'd be interested in listening. I fear something might have happened with them. More so, we have actually received one missive from them lately. They've requested aid. They've been sparse on details, but apparently a team of their tower hands, the monks that serve the sages of Starwatch, were sent into the Sonaran Valley. For what I know not. However, they were sent there for a mission, and they apparently have been lost. I have no better word for it, but Starwatch has requested aid of our wish hunters to investigate. And as you know, Sonaran Valley is part of the unclaimed lands within the Lands of Fate, and there is no domain that protects it. The dangers that you will face will be varied and many, but Starwatch, one of our allies, has requested aid. Although I'm unsure of the exact nature of their problem, I think this is the team that would be best equipped to deal with it.
In Parable's readings of history and wars and collisions that have happened since, particularly since the day that the star stood still, can I roll for a history check that I possibly, of insight that I have around Sonaran Valley, or like things that might have happened there before or anything like that? That is a history check plus 0, so that's a 4.
The Sonaran Valley doesn't specifically remind you of anything specific, but the fact that
flipping
this
through
is...
the good book, like hoping that I find something.
You do have a lot of information on the unclaimed lands.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 4 represents the idea that you're not able to zero in on one of the many stories and tales that are reflected in the chaos of the unclaimed lands within the Lands of Fate. The unclaimed lands is really... It is a region technically, but it's only a region in this area because there aren't any domains to claim that land. And so the stories that come out are everything from, well, there are the Star Callers, a cult of, they seem like they follow the holy light, but
The culture.
but to call upon the very light that has held this world in locked terror. You hear stories that are of werewolves, clans that worship the moon, and things like vampires, all of the different types of urban myths and legends that you might hear about. A lot of them stem from the unclaimed land. So I think you're just unable to pick the exact one of the dangers that you might find within the Sonaran Valley. But
I think I'm flipping through and I see like footnotes that literally just say the worshippers of the moon, the wolves and were, and like just like these little kind of like poetic footnotes, but nothing that's useful in the moment. And I just close the book flustered and I say, I think this stems a little bit from Parable not really knowing which direction he came from home, like what home was from way back when. And so is whenever he has a mission that goes away from the 2 wells or something like that, there is a little bit of a hope that it will bring insight to where he came from in that way. And I do think that he closes the book and he says, if it's dangerous, why do you need us to go? I mean, I'm not saying that I'm avoiding the danger, and I know that people need us, but is it too much of a risk for us to go?
the unclaimed lands is no place to go without a reason. However, I believe we not only have a good reason in their request for aid, but Paul, would you be kind enough to share your news? And Cassie, I'm going to give you an insight check here with advantage due to how specifically charmed you are by Fall. And I would imagine probably pretty locked in on what he might be about to present.
Cool. 25.
Amazing. Is that a natural 20?
No, 19 plus 6.
Wow, fantastic stat.
Plus 6, baby.
So awesome. I think what clicks for you is the recency of something that you have determined that people believe is static within the sky, but shows signs of potentially, if not moving, starting to fall. I think the wizard Fall, you connect the dots that the big news that he might be about to present might be exactly the same news that you discovered about the star that stands still.
Got it. I think I sit and wait patiently to hear what approach, what angle the wizard well presents it through. The wizard Fall.
I love the wizard well. I don't have that one.
No,
We'll meet them later.
Yeah, who knows that the third well is a place? Like, I mean,
because the wizard well is good. I wanted to diversify with my choice of concept. I went with the wizard well because sometimes I want to be well, and sometimes I want to do well, and sometimes I want to fall down a well. That's where the wizard Fall and I met. We met when the wizard Fall cuts off from his story about an old college friend that he had named the Wizard Well, and it says, "Oh yes, the great news, the great terrible news I have." Well, it's actually kind of interesting, and he then goes on another tangent about why interesting things are so fun to talk about. And after several more tangents, the Wizard Fall says, "The thing that we believe to stay in the sky forever, the one thing that does not rise and fall with us, no matter where you are in the world, no matter where you look upon the sky, the star that stands still from every angle you see, I think it's going to fall. No idea when."
Can I do a religion check to see maybe if where I like the Anole say like have a prophecy or some sort
Absolutely.
of.
Can Parable open up the book again to the 1 is 3, 3 is 2, 2 is 1, down, down, down.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a 14 religion.
I'm going to roll something here. I think, yeah, absolutely. There is a prophecy, and I don't think it's that exact phrasing. In this moment, as you are writing, I think you actually capture the essence of the actual prophecy almost to a T. However, there's slight variations based on culture.
I think I actually say something. I think with the book, I never know again, like if I'm reading or writing. And I think that's one where I'm reading that as Stone done the well, I don't think I wrote it myself. And I close it and I say, "Are there any prophecies?"
And Zin, you recall one that you've heard since that typically goes, "The wizards 3 fell off the tree 1 by 2 by 3. To wells they fell, the wizards 3, 3 by 2 by 1. By wishes 2 stood still the sun 1 by 2 by 3. The way you've heard it is instead of wizards, it was wardens. And in your community, there's typically 3 wardens at one time. The one that protects the community, and then the Lady of Stars and the Star King. They are technically wardens, though very rarely called such. That is the highest level within your community. So they are technically that. So the wardens 3 fell off the tree but continuing in the same way. You do have, that is known to be a nursery rhyme kind of style prophecy of, well, the wardens fell off the tree, but to wells they still fell. The wardens 3 by 2 by 1, and by wishes 2. So 3 wardens made 2 wishes and stood still the sun, which in this case serves as Solaris. It's both a history that the original Lady of the Stars and Star King were somehow the two to make the star stand still, not like through direct means, but through the calling for a great light to guide them, one that would guide them and their people who were lost and looking for a new guiding light. It is also a prophecy that one day will come 2 new wardens to call the light truly to us, as Erisvara is meant to be the first of those 2 wardens.
I think Zin doesn't share this realization. I think she.
That's amazing.
45-minute lore dump. I'm not going to share any of this. I am not going to.
Zin is sitting on this one. I think, I mean, not that she like doesn't want to share it, but I think right now is just kind of overcome with
Realization.
like, oh, well, maybe there was truth in it. Maybe like if I was there, I would know. And
Well, you stepped away from something and told yourself it wasn't real. Like someone stepping out of
Right.
a religion. You're like, I don't believe. And then someone telling you like, actually, the devil does exist. Yeah. Like,
yeah. So I think Zin is kind of grappling with this realization, just like just what does it all mean?
Give me a charisma saving throw here.
It was going to be an 18 and now it's a 10.
Ooh.
It was going to be a 23. Scheisse.
Brutal. This is going to be a pose. That is a 15 on the die. More than enough with Akuma's modifier to break free for a moment and just yell,
Destruction! Apocalypse! Doom!
That's not what it's not technically what the prophecy said. Oh, Akuma.
as he starts to sing the prophecy in a sing-song voice.
The wardens 3 fell off the tree, 1 by 2 by 3. The wells they fell, the wardens 3, 3 by 2 by 1. Wishes to still the
Pinky promise. Zin is just like rocking back and forth, like, oh my god.
Akuma makes destruction.
Mojo, eyes wide for a moment, just kind of says, well, I guess the gleaning's complete, right? Willow, any closing thoughts? And I think you guys have it was close. But I think a nat 1 might have put you back on borderline. We need to redo the gleaning. But it seems like you've got it under control. He's just talking. He's not whooshu fire, whooshu fire, whooshu fire.
Can I honestly want to look more at that just because of how coincidentally accurate improv was for the poem on the way down.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look one more time at it, and as if I didn't see it before, I want to see if there's any like little dot markings on the page, and I'd roll for this. But I really want to, in like kind of I'm going to take my pen without it exposed, and I want to go to the dirt in the ground if there's any like dust on the stone, and I just want to put the dots there on the table or whatever, and I want to turn to Cassie. I'm like, because I'm not sure if people can see what's in my book, so I close it, and I say, does that look like anything to you? Does that constellate? Is that something?
It is. Let's not talk about it now.
And I think I just I shuffle my feet and I scrub the dots off the ground. And I say, well, that was a nice gleaming. And I stand up on my chair and I go to bow to Mojo, and the wizard fall.
As you go to do so, I do want to ask Cassie, give me a history check. I do think that Cassie recognizes it. I would, this history check, I think, is how the details that you're able to like fully bring to mind.
7.
I think with a 7, it does look eerily familiar. And it's something to do in your portfolio of like star systems related, or that ones that would give you good reference to your research on the star that stood still. You just can't seem to place it where exactly that falls as a constellation within, your massive amount of astronomical projects.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, it hates it when I do this, but I fold in the corner of the page. Close the good book.
Ooh, earmarking a page in the good book. Parable and Cassie might have more to work out about how there's could be more to glean from the situation. But the wizard fall does continue to give kind of confusing rhetoric about how he understands that. Well, it's not quite falling yet, but I believe that when something is about to fall, there's a certain energy about it. When you are standing upon a precipice.
I understand.
I'm very close to that. Yes, I Are you
He's
okay?
gripping the chair like desperately as soon as you started talking about falling again.
You see him just like looking you up and down. You can definitely tell he's thinking about casting reverse gravity on you one more time. He says, no. But no, Mojo cuts in. Fall. We understand that you have your ways about you, but Willow, would you also please chime in on how this affects us directly? Willow comes to the forefront, soft-spoken, and says, the domain that I maintain through cooperation with Mojo and Fall, it is not failing, but it becomes ever more difficult to hold disastrous energy of the unclaimed lands and the unresolved wishes and clusters of, as wish hunters, you know that a cluster is a more common name for like either a bunch of conflicts that are within an area where, you know, someone wished, I want to make the biggest bonfire in the world and created a volcano, and somebody also wished at the same time or correspondingly, I want a volcano the size of a gumdrop, and there is the hottest glowing ember in the entire universe in a place, you know, it's burning a hole through the earth somewhere in the
just a radius
land.
You can't go.
That is a conflict.
Big crater.
A cluster is a grouping of things like that. Hazards so unpredictable and varying that
and this is the Cenarian area.
This is the unclaimed lands in general. Anywhere that does not hold an actual domain and protect the land. And Willow's telling you right now that through her pact with Mojo, which we don't know, you haven't seen Mojo cast a spell yet, but you can assume that she means magically, and Fall, they three hold this domain together, and it is getting ever more difficult for her to do so. As the leader of it, I project my protections as they are of the third well now. He looks to you all very seriously. Welcome to the third well. You are our most senior wish hunters we have. I am proud to tell you that you are the first. He looks regretfully for a second. Cassie, with your passive insight, you see that he has just misspoken. But he continues on, our first official wish hunters of the third well. And yes?
First ever.
He looks guilty for a moment and says, well, I would be remiss to talk about the wizard's wish and time and luck. But we, at the time, they were part of the founding team, so we didn't necessarily have the ranking system that we do now. So although they were our most senior wish hunters, they truly are, and you truly are. Well, they were truly not, and you truly are wish hunters of the third well. And we need you.
I accept.
Our wards. Oh, good.
Overzealous.
I accept the risk, and we will ensure that we do not let you down, Sir Mojo.
The wizard Fall starts immediately, like, it feels like he's prepping you as he starts to like kind of position your arm. Just says, don't move after I move you somewhere. Don't move at all.
Like this?
Yes. And now think about yourself falling in a way that is more like jumping, but less like walking, and more like running, but less like crawling.
More like jumping, less like walking, crawling.
This continues on for a while as he gives you advice, continues to reposition your body.
I think I'm in a halfling pose. I'm in 100% a halfling like yoga pose, like trying to emulate the direction, because he hasn't turned to me yet. So I'm just trying to follow direction, but I've stopped looking and trying to just listen. And I'm like on one hand trying to brace myself. My feet are in the air and I'm like bent sideways. Yeah.
Is this what the third well would be like? And she's like just kind of twisted up in like a weird twister. Like
the witch Willow says, now everyone find your roots. We need to take a moment, and I will remind us that we have a mission here. I will say that although our wards aren't failing, it is becoming more difficult every day, like I said, to maintain them. And Fall apparently has divined that something is headed to Sonaran Valley. Something that will fall from a great distance, a greater distance than we have seen in these lands than anything else. Cassie, I think with how you are just in tune with this, you know that to be a comet, a meteor, something, a celestial object to fall from the sky.
Is it something that I've probably been charting and predicting myself? Cool.
Your current projections of the star that stands still show that a piece of it has separated. It is still within orbit or magical, whatever is holding it together. A piece of it felt separated, and it's too coincidental. The trek, it's still close. Yeah.
And are the nerves about Star Watch that they haven't put out anything on this?
They have no,
Classic.
not at all. I mean, the star is still standing still.
Right.
Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about.
Okay.
Don't look up.
Everything's clicking.
And is that what the notes in Parables books about? Like the dots along his little path, or is that something separate?
So the star that stands still is usually seen as one and could technically be defined as two. Now in terms of pieces as 1 by 2 by 3, you give me an insight roll here.
Cool. Thank you. It's the 18 plus 2, the net dirty 20.
I think combined with the fact of all this energy of realization coming around, whether Cassie communicates any of these findings, and your interpretation of the prophecy tells you that the nature of the 1 by 2 by 3 and the 3 by 2 by 1 means that it is a process that is starting and not going to end. It is a cycle that is beginning. And Cassie, this is too good for you, as Parable indicates that at all. Your projections, you've probably been able to theorize that no other pieces have split off, but if one piece can split off from the star that stands still, then many might. And Parable, you feel that in your gut.
Yeah, I think my good book like jumps out of the satchel again, lands on the table, and starts flipping pages, but it doesn't stop. Like it just can like it never closes. It just keeps it like the pages are infinite, and then like really ominously, and it lands in front of Cassie, and it says something.
I think it says, to match the 3 dotted stars of the constellation, it has 3 words to accompany it. Words that stay with that check.
To be continued.
Okay. I think that is the perfect time to end. And with that, we will call it on our first session as a team.
Wow.
Wish Hunters of the Third Well. Congratulations. Well, yeah, fuck yeah, badass. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Good. That was good. All right. Well, let me pull up my thing here. I gotta say some stuff here. And
Too eloquent.
Gotta get to it. Thank you, everyone. This has been a bite-sized dice roll, twice told story told by yours truly, Robert Whitehead, and brought to life by my players, G, Maya, and Sav. To post about the show, use hashtag DiceSized. That's DiceSice. Fuck. That's DiceSized. For more like this, follow us on Instagram and find us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/DiceSized. Chicka chicka. DiceSized.